Welcome to Rock and Metal Invasion. My name is Steve. Coming up on the show today, we're doing rock and metal bands from Canada. And who else to bring in for this but my good friend Dan from Off the Charts. How you going, Dan?
Doing very good, and you? Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. I haven't got a drink, but yeah, cheers, Dan. It's actually midday on a Sunday here, but yeah, thanks for coming on. So I've already done rock and metal from New Zealand, of course, and from Australia. So I thought let's do Canada. So and now we're going to I guess a country where there's probably even more bands to choose from. So I'm interested to see because we're each going to choose 5 bands, and you can have some honorable mentions as well. And I said to Dan, it didn't have to be your 5 favorite, and they didn't have to be well-known bands. They didn't have to be obscure bands. It could be any 5 that you happen to choose that you want to sort of spotlight or talk about. I guess ideally a band that you have in your collection, at least one album. So,
Of course.
yeah, we'll kick it off. What's your first one, Dan?
Okay, before I start off, I'd like to tell you thank you for the
Oh, yes.
lovely shirt, Canada and New Zealand, and of course,
Yes, all the way from New Zealand there. Yeah.
yes, mind you, I just Sanitarium. That's the brand name. I just saw that like before we started
Yeah,
recording. I was like, okay,
Oh, they're big.
awesome.
That's a big company here in New Zealand. But and you did. I know we're gonna. Don't worry, we are gonna start talking about music in a minute. But you liked it, eh? Like you thought it was preferable to the Canadian version.
It's so much better than the small. I don't have the thing anymore. Marmite.
Yeah,
I forget what it's called there. This is less salty.
yeah.
And it I like I said, I took it out. I opened it right away when I got the package, and it's soft as
Mm.
opposed to the one was almost every time I had to put it in the microwave to soften it. But
Oh no, yeah.
weird.
Oh,
So
well,
anyway, now how about we talk about music?
yes, let's do that.
Canadian music. So I watched a few I watched your episodes there with the Australian and New Zealand ones. So I saw like I'll go a little bit like this is some of them I like. These guys are I all like. They're
Mm.
not my faves,
Yeah.
but I went into the direction of thinking they may be popular here, but not so much with in New Zealand. Again, maybe I could be wrong, but there's reasons behind every one of them I took. So I'm gonna go with my first one. Maybe you'll be surprised. You'll see how much stuff I have of this artist here. So I am going to go with Aftermore, or as she is known, Melissa Aftermore. Now,
Mm.
I don't know if you know her.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So she's born in Montreal. So she's from Montreal, Quebec. Quebec's a province in Canada. She was in Tinker. Then, of course, you may know her next group, which was Hole,
Mm.
which is the only Hole album that I like. And then she went on to be in Smashing Pumpkins as their bass player until she went solo
Mm.
and did this gorgeous album here. And I don't. This is not my style of music usually, but I saw that video for "Follow the Waves." I'm like, one, she was very cute. I'm like, who the hell is that? Then the song was just like, wow. So Melissa Aftermore came out with this first album, and just to show you how much of a fan, here's a CD single of "A Real Lie." Here's a CD single of "The Taste You." Yeah, no, "Follow the Waves." Here we go. "Follow the Waves" on CD. Obviously, this is only available on CD because you know me, I'd get this on vinyl.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is "Taste You," which has a French version of the song, "Te Goûter." She's from Montreal, which is uh, mostly French there, but anyway, it's a little bilingual there. But I saw her on this tour live. I friggin' loved it. And but at the time, I didn't know who she was. And then, of course, doing background,
Mm.
backwards research, I was like, oh my God, she was the girl in Hole. So
Yeah.
like that's the whole album I like.
Mm.
And believe it or not, because of a girl, I went to see a Smashing Pumpkins tour. Didn't realize I was watching at the time,
Mm.
and I was like,
Mm.
oh my God, I actually got to see her live with the Smashing Pumpkins. So I saw
Yeah,
her
yeah.
live that tour. Before that, with the Smashing Pumpkins, Then came album number 2, which was a very big production, was a flop financially for her.
Mm,
But this one, her second album,
mm,
Out of Our Minds, which I find is a tad better.
mm.
But again, just to show you, Meet Me on the Dark Side with a different remix. There's a reason I buy these, because there's a different version or a bonus track. This came with the album, like a whole package. This is the CD version of the album, Out of Our Minds. There's a movie, a 30-minute movie that she made. I watched once, didn't understand it. And of course, this came with a 45 of Meet Me on the Dark Side. So it's more, I would say she says it's romantic rock. I call it gothy romantic rock, maybe verging on metal at times. Like, she does a duet with Glenn Danzig.
Yeah.
Which, no offense, I don't know if you like the guy. I still don't see the attraction for Danzig there, but that's me. But yeah, that's my first pick. Would be After More. They put her on metal festivals here. Now she's doing nothing. Like, every time there's like 10 years in between each album, so I guess technically we're due now for something there. But yeah, great Canadian artist. Every time I bring someone to go see her, they're like, "Oh my god, that was good there." So, and great bass player too.
Yeah.
So, are you familiar with?
Yeah. No, I've got the first album. I don't think I have the second one, but I might have, I've definitely got a digit. I've heard it, and yeah, I've got a digital copy of it, I'm sure. But yeah, love it. It's great. Yeah, I agree about the way you explained it. It's kind of goth. It's actually, to be honest with you, Dan, and I hope you're not offended when I say this, it's a little grungy. It's a little grungy
Oh,
there.
I know.
Yeah.
There is some grunge I like, and actually
Yeah. But like you say, she's just a true artist. I think that's what I think when I see her. It's like she's not motivated by chart success. I think she's just hoping she puts out some good music. It's going to catch on, and it's a shame that it hasn't, because yeah, it's really good stuff. Yeah, and yeah, I am a Danzig fan, and I do like the Danzig duet. But yeah, no, really good. Yeah, great choice, really good. Not the expected.
I like the word artist. You, like I said,
Yeah.
That's second album is very artsy too.
Exactly.
At times.
Yeah. That's what I think. I think she's cool. Like she's a cool artist to like. Like you've got some sort of credibility as a music fan. Having that in your collection, I think. So that's
She will be on. I don't know if you're familiar. Well, Geddy Lee, the bass player of Rush, he's got a series going or coming soon regarding bass players or people too, or something like that. She's going to be a guest on one of the episodes.
Oh, right. Oh, good. Yeah, cool. Interesting. Yeah.
I'm actually looking forward to watching that there. So
yeah, well, it would be good to know what she's up to. Like you say, she's been pretty quiet, eh? So
I follow her on Instagram. She's got a family life and kids.
Yeah.
And like nothing musically here and there, but
okay,
which is a shame. It's a shame.
Yeah. All right. Well, my first choice. This is a bit of an interesting one, because I'm kind of going to mention. Well, I'm kind of going to mention three artists, but they're all kind of linked. So and I'm going back quite a long way. This is not recent. So the first one is a band called Beau Guest. I don't know if you heard about these guys, Beau Guest.
Beau Geste, actually. It's geste means
we were just talking about pronunciation.
We were just but it's a French word. It's I don't know if you remember the first Kansas connection where I had that Vachon pink. It was a compilation of like kind of Hostess or cakes there, like Twinkies. There you go. Oh, yeah. That band is on there.
Oh, really? Oh, interesting.
I have just a one song.
Right. So how do you say it again, Beau?
Geste means it's a gesture. in
Yes,
French.
I did look
So
up. I did look up what it meant. It's sort of like you're doing a favor or doing some sort of nice thing. Is that
yeah,
right?
well, the word geste means a gesture, like
Yeah.
that.
Okay. Yes.
Un
Right.
geste. Beau geste means a good gesture, like or a
Right.
like
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Oh well, thanks for. Yeah. This is the band I like, and I don't even know how to say their name. But yeah. Anyway, Bo Jest, and the album's Another Night in the City, and which is probably the best track on the album. When I say I like it, it's a bit inconsistent. It's not that heavy. It's AOR, hard rock, even soft rock. I tend to like the heavier songs, which are still not that heavy, but Another Night in the City is really good. Uh, Strong Tonight. So that's also another really good song. They're actually the first two songs from side two. Probably my two favorites. But interesting. This is actually their second album. Their first one came out in 1982, which I don't have because it's actually. I mean, it might be good. I haven't even listened to it or checked it out or anything. But it's French, so it's all the lyrics and
that's exactly what I was gonna ask you. Is that
yeah,
album in English?
yeah. So
Yeah.
this one isn't English. Came out in '86, but their first one I
Because
think.
yeah, the song I have, I'm looking. It's "Si tu l'aimes," which is a French song. I was like, I thought they were French.
Yeah. So their first album's all French, so it was a bit like I don't know, but it could be good, but I haven't checked it out. But yeah. So and also too, the interesting thing with their first album, it's like there's a band shot, but this one, it just basically seems to be just two guys. But you look on the credits, there's more than two guys playing on it, but they're only really highlighting two guys. But the main guy I really want to talk about, I think this is him here, is Brian Hughes. So that's Brian Hughes there. And after this release, uh, he releases in 1990 an album called The Brian Hughes Group. And this is very Bon Jovi. If you like Slippery When Wet, that type of sound, this is almost the type of sound they're going for. It's really good. This one's heavier than Bo Jest. It's called Break the Rules. Yeah, came out in 1990. So 4 years different gap, but and also same producer. So the person who produced this also produced this one, I think. And probably there could be some other. I think there are actually some band members or people who contribute to this are also on this one. But yeah, really good. You can there's a video for She's the Type. There's a music video for that, which is quite good. Worth checking out. But yeah, I a bit of a bit of an obscure one, but yeah, worth checking out. Production's not it's not the best. It's okay, but it did come out on CBS. Yeah, so yeah, I think they're worth checking out if you like that type of sound, sort of 80s hard rock type of sounds and keyboards in there. So it's not super heavy. But also, I just want to mention this one as well. And this is Cindy Valentine. So the reason I'm mentioning this with Brian Hughes is basically it's the Brian Hughes group or Bo Jest group, probably Bo Jest because this came out in 1984. So the Bo Jest group play all the instruments on this, and she's just and also Brian
Gotcha.
did some of the songwriting. And she's a Canadian artist, but one and done, I think. But it's worth checking out. I actually will profile her on my next female-fronted episode, but it's called Rock and Roll Heart Attack. And it's quite good. But so there we go. Brian Hughes, check him out. He after the 1990 album, the Brian Hughes Group, he did a little more production. He's produced some bands and songwriting, done songwriting for other bands, but been fairly quiet recently. But
Wow.
yeah,
And super interesting because I was like, wow, like just the word beau geste, I was like, holy
yeah,
shit. You
yeah,
really, sorry, you really went and took that one out of a box that was
yeah,
forgotten for me
yeah,
there. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
wow.
yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Was not expecting that, but good one. All right. My next one is not obscure at all.
Mm.
But there's a reason I'm talking about this one today. So my channel, I will be doing an episode this coming week regarding this band. because we actually lost here in Canada one very important artist here in Canada. So I'm going to talk about
Mm.
April Wine. So yeah, Miles. Oh my God, Miles Goodwin. Why do I forget his name? It's it's one of those bands. Again, I don't know if this band translated that much in New Zealand,
Yeah.
but these guys had it's like Honeymoon Suite, like we talked about one time, where it was huge in Canada, but apparently nothing over there.
Yeah.
But April Wine, like sometimes I'll tell my dad, you listen to this song, like, oh my God, that was like a beer commercial. Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
that was. And lately, since Miles Goodwin has passed away, uh, every hockey game, well, Canadians love their hockey and all that. Before every commercial, the last 2 weeks, it's just been April Wine, like you wouldn't believe. So, but these guys, and I always call it the April Wine rule, where you're like, these songs, but you just didn't know who they were from. So April Wine from Nova Scotia, that's a province in the Maritimes in Canada. They've been around since 1971. Their first album's 1971. I have all of them on vinyl up until Attitude. The last three are not available on vinyl, unfortunately, there, but get them somehow there. But this, there's some great radio. This is rock or hard rock, and the later material verging on heavy rock, I guess I would say. But yeah, they're the 70s stuff. I mean, it's like, oh my God, that I like, to give you an example here. I heard a hit by April Wine. I was like, oh my God, I thought that was like a band like Alabama, like, just to give you an
Yeah.
idea.
Right.
I heard that song. I'm like, oh my God, that's them. Like, it's, to me, it's just like it's the band where these, again, if you're Canadian, these songs, but you don't know by who usually. But then it's sad that when someone passes away is the only time that we're starting to realize how great these guys were. So these guys were huge early 80s here. They were like an arena band in the 80s here in Canada. Not sure. I doubt they've ever gone all the way to New Zealand there. They've had minor success in, like, I watched somebody today on YouTube while working. Apparently even the US wasn't that big for to a point there, but Canada was like, this was an arena band.
Yeah.
But yeah, every time I'll say, a band that you don't, the songs, you've heard them all your life. I always call it, oh yeah, the April Wine rule. That was my thing. And of course, sadly, he passed away just like a few months after he got into the Canada Hall of Fame, actually, with a few other people that I will mention later on. So anyway, April Wine, this is pretty much their classic album here, The Nature of the Beast.
Yeah.
This, I Like to Rock, is
Yeah.
one of their signature tunes here. Yeah, there's so many hits from those guys that I was like, oh my, you don't realize it until you actually sit down and go look at the back. I'm like, oh my, that was them. So that's my pick for number 2 right there, April Wine.
Yeah. Nice one, Dan. Nice one. Yeah, I mean, a band I've heard certain songs that I like, but haven't really dug into them as much. As it's just one of those another band on the list to sort of investigate a little bit more. But
They're a 70s band, mostly, a little bit 80s.
yeah, yeah. But they did put something out like 91 or something like that, didn't they? 92 even.
Oh yeah, Attitude is.
Yeah.
I will send you that video for that song from the Attitude. It's that would be up your alley. I
I
think.
think I've seen it online. Yeah, I think I've seen it online.
Yeah, That's Love there. It's like so good. Oh,
yeah, yeah. And have you got that on vinyl? Have you? Or
that's the last one they have on vinyl is Attitude. Yeah, so it does exist.
Yeah,
which actually would be my favorite album, believe it or not.
Oh, right. Okay, cool. Well, one band I heard you mention is going to be my next band. So, and maybe there's some similarities with April Wine to this band. I'm talking about Honeymoon Suite. So, Yeah, and again, probably another one of those bands that because I when I got into them, I thought they were pretty obscure. Like, oh, I really liked them, but no one else probably likes them in the world. They're just. But I was quite surprised. Wow, they've got like 4 albums, but no one's buying them. How do they keep putting out all these albums? Because they seem like have zero popularity here in New Zealand, and I
Wow.
didn't, I didn't seem to see them in the magazines I read either. Like I was, I guess Hit Parader and Middle Edge. They didn't seem to sort of appear in those kind of magazines. And I
No.
guess maybe because they're not in the hair metal kind of category. They're not maybe quite heavy enough or whatever, or didn't have that image. Um, but yeah, then I find out later on, they're quite popular. Is that right in Canada? They're pretty big, right? Yeah, and had hits in Canada. Yeah, so my first exposure to them was this album, and for me, it's their best. It's a
Mhm.
classic. It's one of my all-time favorite albums. The Big Prize, of course, it's got big time production by Bruce Fairbairn, and it's just every song. It's just like one of those albums, and I don't have that many to be honest. There's always a few duds here and there on an album. This one, it's just like every song, and some I like obviously more than others, but I'm more than happy to listen to every single song. Feel It Again, Bad Attitude. I think there's at least 2 or 3 music videos you can watch from this album. But yeah, that's my
What does it take on that one?
yep. What does it take? Yeah, that's on that one.
Oh, love
Yeah,
that song.
yeah, yeah. So, and of course, this is their first one. I think New Girl Now was kind of the hit on that one. Um, but
Wave Baby was on that, the
Wave
first one
Baby,
too.
yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
was a big minor hit.
Yeah, this is their third album, Racing After Midnight, and they had some potential. They're definitely getting a little bit more hair metal here because we look at the group shot, and for an
Mhm.
album cover, they're really sort of selling their image and look a little bit more here. They did have a song on Lethal Weapon soundtrack. Yeah, just called Lethal Weapon. But yeah, this album
Yeah.
not as good, but still good. Not as good, but as the Big Prize, but still good.
Looking out
Um,
for number one on that one. We did
yep.
a reaction video about that one time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Way back.
Yeah. Um, I probably would like to do a bit of a profile of these guys at some point because there are some interesting stories with this band I won't get into now. But and this is the last one I've got on vinyl. Came out in '91. Monsters Under the Bed. And not one I heard. I mean, in fact, none of these I heard back in the day. I found the Big Prize probably must have been early to
Their
mid.
popularity by that album, they were kind of
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this is probably one of the last ones I got. And I don't think it's easy to find on vinyl now because it's '91 as well, and it wasn't a big seller. I don't think. Yeah, yeah. So yeah. I mean, all these kind of bands. 1991 is probably not a good time for them. But it's still a good album. They don't change their sound. They don't go grunge or anything like that. It's pretty consistent with their sound. And they've reformed. In fact, I think they're still playing around every now and then, and they've put out a few
new
albums.
album coming out February
Yeah,
2024.
yeah. So I'm not that familiar with their more recent stuff, but I've heard, I'm heard little clips, and it sounds fine. I just, there's
Yeah.
only so much time to listen to everything, but yeah, great band.
So just to add to that, for your comparison to April Wine, see April Wine, you didn't know it was April Wine, but Honeymoon
Oh
Suite,
yeah,
no, oh, that's Honeymoon Suite, that's Honeymoon
yeah,
Suite. And the reason I think it was never in Metal Edge because I think here was more like pop,
yeah,
hard rock or pop rock.
yeah,
It was played on mainstream as opposed to the Power Hour or Headbangers Ball. It
yeah,
was, but yeah, every song. I remember going to see Whitesnake and they were opening for Whitesnake Honeymoon Suite, and then there was a comedian before that. He goes, "You guys know every single song by this band." But mind you, this was in Canada,
yeah,
so
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
they were huge here in the late '80s. There, like everybody had
Mm,
or knew Honeymoon Suite. So
interesting. Yeah,
good one, good choice. I only have the first 3 albums so far.
okay.
I'm late.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
sorry, there's a fluff going around. All right, my next one here is I've talked to you about these guys not too long ago. The band itself, they were never as popular, but what came out of there was a solo artist. You may know what I'm going with this here. So I'm talking about Max Webster. So these guys were formed in Toronto, 1972. And I did find out, Steve, by the way, where they got the name. This is not the name of a guy, by the way. It's it was a song by a band called Family Mac, where they had a song called Song for Webster. So they were Max apostrophe MAC apostrophe S Webster. And then you go, might have just well put it Max Webster.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this is when I moved here in Ottawa. I first heard Kim Mitchell. I fell in love with Kim Mitchell. You guys, you must know by now how much I love Kim Mitchell. But for some reason, I stood away from this. I didn't know who they were. And then, you know, more you talk to people, you're like, oh my God, I love Kim Mitchell. Oh, I don't like Kim Mitchell. But I love his Max Webster. And I'm like, what the hell is Max Webster? And they named songs. And it wasn't until my friend actually, he heard it on the radio, which was Battle Scar, which is a Max Webster song with the guest Rush. So everybody knows Rush. Max Webster toured with Rush constantly. They were always the opening act for Rush. But success never came to these guys. It's hard rock. It's definitely hard rock. There's lots of Zappa-esque material, prog here and there, some great commercial rock a la Honeymoon Suite. Like they were all over the place. But I don't know, these guys just never caught on. They were like gods. Like I said, I didn't know about these guys until probably early 90s. Like just to give you an idea there. But this is like a 70s band here. And like I said, I knew Kim Mitchell, but I just didn't catch on with the Max Webster until I heard Battle Scar. Like, what is that? And then backwards, I still like Kim Mitchell a little bit more. But if you're a musician, or musicians will probably like Max Webster a lot more. It fits with Rush, but it doesn't sound like Rush at all. It's a band that's very hard to describe. Them, like I said, I mentioned earlier, the April Wine were just last couple of months ago were inducted into the Canadian Hall of Fame. So they're known just by name, I find. So I would say if nobody's ever familiar with, and is Max Webster, did that translate to New Zealand like at all, or like not even Kim Mitchell, I think, right? Or not as much.
Not really.
Yeah,
No.
these guys, like I said, Kim Mitchell was huge here in the mid '80s. He had a small period, but Max Webster was the band that was considered great musicians. Just wasn't really radio friendly either. But yeah, check out Battle Scar. With the song with Rush. If you want a good radio hit, check out Let Go the Line. Hangover is a great hard rock song. But like, I'm not telling you to go into the obscure or odd material there, but this is like A Million Vacations, Paradise Skies. Those are, and there again, Let Go the Line was a song. I'm like, oh my God, I kept hearing that on the radio as a kid. And I was like, oh my God, that's them. Like, finally, one of these, oh my God, I finally found a song that I didn't know what it was in my youth there. So I'm going to go with Max Webster. This is before Kim Mitchell's solo career.
Yeah.
And they have 5 albums. And at the end, it was just like, you know what? We're done. Like, we're calling. Actually, Kim Mitchell, if I read his book by Martin Popoff there, I think he just effed off.
Yeah.
Work. And which not the coolest move there, if you ask me there. But anyway, it is what it is. So,
and so I'm assuming Max Webster I know more, but Kim Mitchell still tours.
Yeah, I saw him 2 months ago. So yeah.
Yeah. But Max Webster don't get together into like Kim. Kim doesn't hook up with the Max Webster guys or anything like that and do a show.
They've done a reunion show in the early 90s,
Oh yeah.
and I believe another one too, like not a reunion show, a reunion tour.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're gone. Like I saw the guy coming up with a cane, like when you get
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah.
of
Yeah.
the Canada Hall of Fame. It's just like wow, okay, that I don't foresee them touring
Yeah.
anytime
And
ever. But Kim Mitchell does play Max Webster's song. Sorry.
Yeah. 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 Cool. All right. Well, yeah, I might check a couple of those ones out because, yeah, very unfamiliar. I mean, I've heard of them, obviously, and heard of Kim Mitchell. Even heard some Kim Mitchell, but the Max Webster stuff, not so much. All right. My next one I think you know, Dan, and one I've talked about, but just one of my favorite Canadian artists, and I'm talking about Lee Aaron. So this is her first album. I think actually the first album sometimes has a different cover, and it's called the Lee Aaron Project. But
Yeah, with the skateboard there.
yeah. But
I have that. I have that version you have there.
Yeah, well, this is the better cover. I mean, come on. Yeah. What do you want to look at? A skateboard or Lee Aaron? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. So that.
Cheers to your taste.
Yeah.
Cheers to your taste.
Under Your Spell is a good song. I like My Rock Hard. Yeah, I mean this is it's a bit patchy, but it's got some good songs on it. And then of course, the next one she's really embracing, well, the heavy metal scene, I suppose, 80s metal, calling herself the Metal Queen, which is quite a title to give yourself. But she's got the look and everything, the outfit on there, and there's the band at the back, but she's the star of the show, of course. The title track's really good, Lady of the Darkest Night, Deceiver. This is on the Attic label. That's quite a well-known sort of Canadian label, isn't it? So
Kim Mitchell's label too at the beginning, yeah.
Right. Yeah, produced by Paul Gross. I've seen his name a few times as a producer for Canadian X. But yeah,
Paul Gross.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll have to go check something out. It can't be the same guy that I'm thinking of.
Yeah, Gross. Yeah. Anyway, so that's the second album. But her best one for me, talking about great album covers, I used to enjoy looking at this one as a boy, as a teenage boy. Very nice. Call of the Wild. Yeah, she looks amazing on the front cover, and the back cover's got a nice little shot of her as well. But there's just songs on this are just fantastic. Rock Me All Over, Line of Fire, Danger Zone, Hot to Be Rocked. It's pretty much again one of those albums where there's no bad songs. There's some songs I like more than others. It does have a couple of cover songs on it. So, well, songs that have been written by other people. So, like Beat 'Em Up is a song written by Bob Halligan Jr., and it's also on the Blue Oyster Cult album. Yeah. And Barely Holding On, I think that's been covered by quite a few bands.
I love her version.
Yeah, love her version. It's good, yeah. Bob Ezrin did the production, so you got a pretty big name producer.
I know.
If this wasn't going to work, I don't know if nothing was probably. So it's a bit of a mystery, really. Although, actually, in saying that, the next album's also got a lot of commercial appeal. But just before I go on with that one, I just wanted to mention that I've got this 12-inch single here for the next album, from the next album, Only Human. But it also includes the song Call of the Wild, which was recorded. So they did it. She did like a Dokken, right? And has a song called Call of the Wild. That's not on the album. Yeah, it's not on the
album. I need to get that now. I don't have that.
Yeah, it's a B-side. So they did record a song called Call of the Wild, and it's a good song too. Really good song. I like it. But yeah, not on the album. But you can get it if you get the Only Human 12-inch single. And I know you're starting to get into getting those, Dan. So there we go. There might be one to get. But yeah, so Only Human is from her self-titled album. And this one, I mean, a couple of albums ago, she's the metal queen. Now she looks like, I don't know, like some sort of pop queen, really. It's definitely dropping the metal image.
I definitely remember when that came out.
Yeah. But it's definitely a softer, less heavy album, more commercial, but still good. I really like it. Powerline. Hands Are Tied. Yeah, Only Human was one of the singles, a bit of a ballad, I think. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's got some songwriting from Joe Lynn Turner, I think, on this one as well. I think it might be Powerline. I'm not too sure. Let's have a look. Yeah, Joe Lynn Turner did the songwriting on that one.
Wow.
But yeah, it's got still a lot of the same guys. John Albani, he's the guitar player for most of her albums, at least her first few
Okay.
albums. Yeah, and then Body Rock is the next one. I don't actually like that one so much. And in fact, this is the last one I've actually owned of hers, but obviously she's got some other albums after that. But yeah, my favorite is Call of the Wild.
In Canada, the first three albums were known, but
Mm,
you find those at the Power Hour.
yeah,
Oh, Human, that album there, the self-titled one, was on the video hits, which was, commercial albums. And then Body Rock was
yeah, that was the hit, wasn't it?
Power and video hits, like the
Yeah.
the commercial. So, but I remember being, I thought she was a scary woman with the Metal Queen era versus super nice, fun girl in the Body Rock. Like it was,
Yeah.
she changed. Like that was huge here in Canada. Body Rock. Oh my god, you couldn't go anywhere without hearing "What You Do to My Body," "Hands On,"
Mm,
and "Sweet Talk" was the big three hits here.
mm,
But
mm.
if you ask any Canada people, the Metal Queen is Lee Aaron. But if you ask the world, it's Doro, right? So,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
but she's known as Canada's Metal Queen
yeah,
versus the Metal Queen, which is Doro.
yeah, 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 yeah. That's fair enough.
But good choice. I love her a lot.
Yeah, yeah, she's great and great. She's still going, and putting out, put out a
Super nice.
yeah, good
Super
album.
nice. I met her once. I was like,
Yeah,
wow,
yeah. I've enjoyed a few interviews she's done recently, and she sounds cool. So
very down
yeah,
to earth.
yeah.
Cool. All right, I'm gonna go with my next one here, which is a band that gets absolutely no love, not even in Canada almost.
Mm,
They had a semi small popularity in the early 80s, but these guys just keep getting heavier and heavier. You must know these guys. I've talked about them before with you. So I'm gonna go with Fist,
yeah.
Fleet Street, and In the Red, which is, but their career path has just been, and they actually came out with a greatest hits called Flying Under the Radar.
Mm,
And the guy sings, that's pretty much what my whole life has been, flying under the radar.
mm,
And you look at their videos, they're cheaply made. I think you know them as MYO Fist, which is
mm,
another move that just makes no
mm,
sense. Like, I don't even know what the MYO stands for. I may have checked it there. But this is hard rock verging on heavy metal at times, even. Like in the 90s, they came out with a comeback album, their Reign of Terror, which was like almost heavy metal right there. But yeah, these guys were, I guess their height of popularity was like being a headliner in a big bar, I guess, if you would. But yeah, like it's motorcycle rock, I guess, to a point there. I love these guys a lot. I think it's one of the better discoveries I made when I started collecting vinyl. But yeah, these guys, and I don't think anything happened in New Zealand either, right?
yeah.
But you know these guys, right?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But even Canada, you talked about these guys, unless you're my age or even over, like in your 60s or 70s. Oh, yeah, Fist. I remember them back in 79. They played my high
Yeah.
school or
Yeah.
this. But I would say give these guys a shot. Anybody out there, like it's great hard rock, verging on metal. Especially this album to me is one of those rare 10 out of 10s. Every song, like a few duds here, and that's where they change singers. Because Ron Chenier's voice is not for everybody. It's growly. It's imagine a biker singing songs, pretty much.
Mm,
But
mm,
yeah, this album is just great. And I
mm.
think you may have this one as Thunder and Rock with a
Yeah.
fist.
Yeah.
It's the same album, but different cover.
Right. Right. Right.
I find this one to be a genius piece. Decent. But yeah,
Yeah.
just have just a lot of stroke of bad luck here from what I'm
Mm.
again, their height. I was not even old enough to go see concerts and bars and all
Yeah.
that there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
remember their comeback, which was a minor, like they had the one video, Muscle Gun, that they showed on the Power Hour here. I was like, oh my God, this is good. And
Yeah.
that's what got me into
Mm.
the band, which is heavy metal right there, like hard rock metal. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, my next one. And from Ottawa, it formed in 1979.
Yeah.
So,
And you saw them in concert
hometown pride.
quite recently,
What's
yeah?
that?
You saw them in
Yeah, I
concert?
saw them, what, 6 months ago
Yeah. Yeah.
or less?
Yeah.
This past summer, anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right, I think this is the fourth one. That was your fourth one, wasn't it? So we got one
Yeah.
more each. Yeah. So my fourth one, again, a band I've talked about on my show, is a band called Reckless. Now, this is their first album, with the terrible album cover, but it is female fronted, and a nice surprise actually, just actually how good this is. I It's a bit of a banged up cover, but I only got this fairly recently, but it's really good. Like,
I got it because of you.
yeah, victim of time.
My wallet doesn't like you anymore, by the way.
Yeah, no, of course it doesn't. But I should actually be able to pick this up pretty cheap. I mean, I did pick this up pretty cheap
Oh, yeah.
because it's not in the best condition. But yeah, victim of time. I heard that song. I thought, wow, this is really good. But what's unbelievable is like, it's this. This is the same band, right? But of course, different members. Especially that's they've got a male vocalist now. So
Mhm.
yeah, so change of vocalist. This guy here, Steve. What's his name? Steve Madden. He's sort of, I think, the main guy. So he's the guy on the front cover of this one. So yeah, he's the sort of he's the really the yeah, he's the guy on this that's started the band and everything like that. Actually, interesting one too. Paul Gross is on a producer for this one as well. So there we
I
go.
gotta look that guy up, man. This
Yeah.
can't be the actor. It's a Canadian
Right.
actor that went on to do. Can't be the same guy.
Yeah, check it out. Yeah.
I
Anyway,
will.
so how to steal a more typical sort of your mid '80s kind of metal, came out on Heavy Metal America label. When I was buying records back in the day, and I couldn't hear things, right? I couldn't hear the music. I couldn't, so I just go on. What does it look like? Oh yeah, these guys look '80s metal kind of. That looks like something I'm interested in. So, How to Steal, the band name, everything sort of said, oh yeah, I should get this. And yeah, it's pretty good. Hot and Ready is a good song. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty average. I'll be honest with you,
Yeah, it's good.
but it's good.
I like that one
It's what
better
it is.
than the first one.
Yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, solid band. But yeah, I don't know what happened after this. I guess that was it. So I
Yeah.
used to often think it was one and done, but it isn't. There's this, because you would think this is a completely different band, and there's been a
Oh
few.
yeah, for sure.
There's been a few other bands called Reckless as well, but no, it's the same band. But there we go. Yeah, but both albums are worth checking out. Yeah. So there we go. It's my fourth one.
But yeah, because of you, I only had the first. I had the second one, but because of
Yeah.
you, I bought. I was like,
Yeah.
that's the same guys.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
All right, last one here. I think you know these guys. So they're known for goth rock. So National Velvet.
Yeah.
First one, second one, which I remember seeing the song Shine On TV. I was like, wow. And just their last one, Wild Seed, is only available on CD there. But I remember just, I don't want to sound like a prick saying this there, but the singer sends out so much sexuality, but she's not like pinup model material. But I loved her. I loved her. There was something about her. But Flesh Under Skin, like this, the first. Are you familiar with these guys? I think so, right?
Yeah. Sex Gorilla is the song I like, but yeah.
Oh yes. Well, apparently that was based on people thought they were saying Sex Gorilla, but the original title was Sarsaparilla. But when they heard
Ah,
it, oh, I love the song Sex Gorilla. I'm like, that's not what like they changed it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, there's a video for Sex Gorilla. But me, it's Shine On. I absolutely love the song Shine On. They unfortunately lasted 3 albums,
Mm.
which I just showed you the CD here. But there's this one here, the song Flesh Under Skin. They're from Toronto also again. I would say they're more goth,
Mm.
yeah, goth rock, but a very short period. But those 2 albums I have on vinyl there, they're great. I find there. They formed. The singer was Maria Del Mar and Mark Storm. They met at a party. He goes, that music, their song, that the music in the party sucks. You want to go form a band? Sure. That's pretty like
Mm.
honestly, that's the gist of it right there. They were just like about like I don't think this translated to New Zealand because this was like very very like a small window of popularity here in Canada, like very small. But I'm like, I rediscovered it through a radio station. I'm like, remember these guys? I'm like, I remember that song. Like that was good. And I went and bought their
Mm.
whole
Yeah.
10 years. Well, yeah, great band. Especially their first 2 ones.
Mm.
The third one's a little bit grungier, I guess. That
Sure.
was the era
Yeah.
for it there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sex Gorilla, Flesh Under Skin, and I would say check out also Shine On, which would be my favorite right there. So
Yeah.
little unknown band that coulda, woulda, shoulda, I guess, but
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
very, very short lived.
Okay.
But they're
Cool.
back to touring right now.
Oh, really? Okay.
Just touring like
Yeah.
here and there. Let's
Yeah. Yeah.
let's call let's call the tour a let's use the term loosely, the word touring right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. 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 All right. So I thought I'd go for a more modern band. When I say modern, I'm talking about this century rather than last century. But a band called Art of Dying. So this is their first album, and it's kind of, I mean, it's kind of modern rock, heavy alternative rock, really. Post grunge even. The guy who's really the I guess the main sort of person in the band is a guy called Johnny Hetherington. Um, the go to song for me is a song called "Get Through This," and it's on this album. And I'm not a bit. I know you said on your I think on the show that you put out yesterday that you're not a big lyrics guy, but and I'm not particularly either. But I really love the lyrics on that one. Really good. It's basically like it says, you get through this, you can get through anything. Is basically the gist of the song, and I really love the lyrics in it. The song's really good as well. Yeah, lots of really good songs on this one. And then they released this album. This came out on a major label. So this is called Vices and Virtues. This came out on Reprise. Interestingly enough, like 5 years. It took 5 years from this to get to this. And then they actually have a number of the same songs. So this is more a sort of independent release. And then so on the major label, like Get Through This is also on this album as well. And there's a music video put out. I think they may even have that song may even have a couple of music videos because they did a music video, I think, for this, and then when they got on a major label, maybe they did another one. I'm not certain about that, but anyway, yeah. So this came out in 2011. It's got some big name sort of producers. Howard Benson's quite well known as a producer. It's got the guy from Disturbed. He's the guitarist from Disturbed. He does some production work on it. But and Yeah, I think it's good. They have released a few EPs and so forth since, even maybe an album. It's hard to know. They're sort of sometimes they release an EP and then sometimes they put the two EPs together as like an album. Do that sort of a deal. And I think you can get like some of them on vinyl, but they're like hard to find or money. And I'm really not into sort of buying CDs that much these days. I really just want to get it on vinyl. So some of I like their more recent material as well, but at this stage don't have physical copies of them. But but yeah, a good band. I'm sort of surprised that they're still going. They released a new single this year. When I say surprised, just because they haven't really, you'd sort of think if it doesn't work out after a few years, maybe they're going to call it quits, but they keep hanging in there. And it's have popularity. I'm not saying that they don't have fans. They definitely have a good following and so forth, but they never just broke big, and this was I guess their shot, and it didn't really work out. But it's hard to sell in big numbers these days anyway, isn't it? So yeah.
I'm not even familiar with these guys at all.
Yeah.
And I'm from Canada.
Yeah. No, I don't know. They might be more well known in America, to be honest.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Nope, not in this household.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Mentions?
Yes, I've got a few. So yeah, go for it.
All at the same time, or
no? You just go first, and then I'll do my honorable mention.
All at once. I mean.
Yeah, just do it all at once. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go with. I felt sorry for these guys when the movie came out, so I bought every friggin' album after that.
Yeah.
And after this, the Juggernaut of Justice, I'm like, there's a reason why these guys were never popular. Hopefully, they're not watching this. Your music's not that great.
Yeah.
Except the early material is good.
Yeah.
The first 4 albums are great.
Yeah.
Then it just goes downhill. Like it's. Yeah. They're considered a joke here anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great movie, but
it's a great movie.
Yeah, but unfortunately, the reality is there's lots of good bands and they're a good band, definitely. There's some good albums, but that just not everyone can make it.
Quality dropped, like
sure, yeah.
There's this with Anvil's quality drop like that. That's like wow. I felt bad. I listened to this. I never listened to them. Like I had them all on iTunes. I felt so bad after watching the movie, but nope.
They're still putting out albums though. They've had a resurgence definitely since that documentary.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Their 50 minutes of fame has gone very long.
Yeah.
But they're back to where they were. Bar bands.
Yeah.
You must know these guys here from Regina, Saskatchewan, Kick-Axe. This doesn't even look or sound Canadian. They sound American. But yeah, this is Canadian. Love these guys. New album coming out in 2024, apparently. I just read today. So, you know me, I'm a completist. So, Kick-Axe, another great one here. Kick-Axe. Yeah, sorry about that. Took them all out.
Yeah. They're not easy to find down here, but yeah.
Really? These are, they're here.
Yeah.
Do you have them?
No, I don't.
Because if you want them, I can easily get them cheap here.
Yeah, it's the postage that's the problem.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But anyway,
yeah.
My friend went to see this band. I've only discovered these guys a month ago, and I was like, "You want to see this band?" I'm like, "Never heard of them." Packed house. So Unleash the Archers. I don't know if you ever heard of these guys. The singer is a female, which is Brittany Slays. Apparently is an in-demand, like, this is power metal.
Yeah.
From Canada, Victoria, BC, on the other side of the coast there. Can't really tell you much about these guys. I just literally discovered them, but thought I'd mention a power metal band. But the singer, like I said, my friend was like, they're in demand big time. And the show was sold out at it's the major bar here in Ottawa. They're the Brass Monkey. I was like, really? Like, I've never even heard of these guys. So Unleash the Archers, if you like your power metal. New album coming out next year, I think there. But there you go. Unleash the Archers. I know I've talked about these guys many times with you. The Pursuit of Happiness. Commercial, a little bit like, they were popular, but like for 2-3 albums and then just 5 albums. I love these guys a lot, especially this one here is considered a classic here in Canada. Don't think it did anything else outside of Canada though. So The Pursuit of Happiness, love these guys. Hard rock verging on hard rock, I would say. And last one, again, just to show off, Harem Scarum. This is easily their best album. I have them all digitally. Still waiting for them to. They weren't really as popular in Canada, but they're huge in Japan, I believe. And I was like, that's what literally kept their career going.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my 5 honorable mentions right there. Saw those guys like live 4 times here. Places were empty or just
Yeah.
wasn't a Canadian thing there. So
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I've got that one. It's just the mood swings. I don't know what they're, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to pay like what it is, at $500 or whatever it is, for this flashy digital, or deluxe version.
No, it should be available now as a
Oh,
LP only.
okay. I'll have
I
another
keep
look.
seeing it on their Instagram anyway.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because that this is good, but mood swings is even better. So I
Oh
think.
yeah.
Yeah. So
It was
cool. Yeah.
No Justice was a hit here in Canada. But
Yeah.
after that, the
Mm.
grunge hit and they went kind of grunge and I was like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, that Mood Swings was '93 release, and it doesn't sound
yeah.
like 1993 at all,
Mm-mm.
which is great. They're very keeping to their sound, but and it's really good.
Yeah.
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 Cool. All right, nice one. Thanks, Dan. Good honorable mentions, and I love your picks. So I'll quickly go through some of mine. Dagger, Not Afraid of
That's
the Night.
Canadian?
Yeah, that is Canadian. Yeah.
I remember seeing that cassette as a kid or a teen. I'm like, who the hell is this?
Yeah.
You're the first person I've actually know that has that album.
Yeah. It
Awesome. Thank you for
wasn't
that.
easy to get. Yeah, it wasn't easy to get. Probably you have to be in Canada, maybe easy to find it easily. But yeah, it's good. I like the title track's really good. Not Afraid of the Night. You can see they got a total hair metal type look, but this is 1985, so they're actually kind of not ahead of everyone else, but they're sort of they're sort of up with the bands that are doing it at the time, like Rat and Quiet Riot. They're sort of following it with those guys, and it's a similar type of sound.
Oh, I
Uh,
definitely remember that cover.
yeah, 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 exactly.
Wow. Okay.
Um, Now this is one of my favorite sort of EPs. It's only got 6 songs on it. It's Lisa Price, and the album's called Priceless. And the there's a bit of a connection here to um, Lee Aaron, because John Albani plays the guitar on at least some of the songs, if not all of them. Oh, I think he does. He plays a guitar on all of the songs, and it definitely does sound a little bit like it could have been maybe on the Lee Aaron self-titled album. It's that sort of type of sound.
Okay.
And yeah, it's another Paul Gross production. There we go. It's up again. Yeah.
Wow. I gotta see if it's the same guy. I can't believe it.
Yeah. And I think the only yeah, no, there's a couple more. I didn't want to talk about Loverboy, because everyone knows Loverboy, but I did want to mention that Paul Dean I think he has 2 solo albums actually. I don't have the second one, but this is the first one, Hardcore, and it's really good. It came out I think '88, something like that. Brian McLeod from the Headpins.
Wow. Okay.
He does songwriting and production on it. And Sword and Stone, of course, is a song written originally by Kiss. Was going to be on their Crazy
That's
Night.
on that?
Yeah, Sword and Stone is on here. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was my first time hearing that song was on this album, and I think he probably does the best version of it. Bonfire do a version of it as well, but
Yeah, I
really
got that. Yeah.
yeah, I really like this version. It's also got a
Wow.
song.
Okay.
It's also got a song called "Draw the Line," which is written by Bryan Adams and Jim Vallance, and it's on the Ted Nugent album from I think it might be, I don't know, one of his mid '80s albums, but so it also features on this album as well. And Under the Gun's written by John Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora, and I think John Bon Jovi plays harmonica or something on it. So yeah, it's got some big names helping out, but yeah, hardcore.
Okay,
And
that's interesting for me there, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Do you know this guy, Paul Lane?
Oh, I had that. Yeah, I have that upstairs. I saw that tour.
Oh, did you?
He opened for Joe Sat. That was my second concert ever. He
Wow.
opened for Joe Satriani on the Flying in a Blue Dream tour. So yeah, the Doriana was a minor hit here.
Yeah, yeah, Doriana, yeah. Stick It in Your Ear. The song I really like is We Are the Young. That's a really good song. But yeah, and it's actually produced by Bruce Fairbairn, I think. So he's got some kind of big names, helping out here. And he goes on to be the vocalist for Danger Danger as well. And
Dawn is great, by the way. Yes, I just said that.
what was it?
Dawn.
Oh yeah,
The
Dawn.
album,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
the album, his first
yeah,
album, Helicopter. I love that song.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Danger Danger were pretty good actually in the 90s when they were releasing
Yeah,
albums. Yeah. Um, with that sound that wasn't popular at the time. But
yeah,
yeah, so he replaces Ted Poley as the vocalist. But
yeah.
and then I think he's now in a band called The Defiance, I think it is called, who are released a few albums. But
I lost track of him there. Yeah.
yeah, there is a second solo album as well. I don't have it, but there is a second one. It might have been released later on after like in the mid
Yeah.
'90s. Maybe it was recorded earlier than that. But yeah, so there's that, and a band I've talked to you about before when we did our letters A to Z, and we had to say sort of this was like over a year ago we did this, and we talked about our favorite bands that start with each letter of the alphabet. And I chose a band called Evans Blue. So sort of alternative metal, modern rock sort of band. But yeah, I really love these guys. But all their albums,
Wow.
unfortunately, after the fifth one, Letters from the Dead, they just sort of seem to just disappear, fade away. But yeah, they're really good. I really like them. So yeah, and that's it. That's my honorable mentions, and
I'm
that's the show.
Canadian, and you actually made me discover some bands
Yeah, well, good, yeah,
or albums or not
yeah,
bands, but albums. Okay, I need to get like I know the guys there, like that Paul Dean one and that Lee
yeah.
Aaron
Lisa Price.
single I want to get now.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah,
But most importantly, we got to figure out who this Paul Gross is.
yeah. That's right. Yeah. Well, it's
'Cause
weird, isn't it? Because I was never even thinking about that, but then his name's ended up being on the back covers of like at least three of the
there's
albums
a
we talked about.
yeah, there's a Paul Gross here in Canada. He's an actor, and he played a like early '90s
Maybe
TV
had a
shows
career.
are very popular.
Yeah,
So I wonder.
yeah, okay.
That's that anyway. That will be the mystery to solve.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll let you know.
All right. Hey, thanks, Dan. So gone almost over an hour, maybe even for this one, but yeah, it's been a good chat, and hopefully, I know some of the bands are probably quite well known, but also some not so well known. So there might be some new bands for you to check out. Make sure you check out Dan's channel, Off the Charts. Puts out 2 shows a week. Awesome show, of course. And of course, we are each a quarter of the Kansas Connection, which might be putting out a new episode sometime soon, hopefully.
Hopefully, yes.
Thanks for watching. Hit that thumbs up, leave a comment, and I'll be back later. All right, catch you later. See ya.
Thank you.